Hello, hello, hello. So I wanted to make a guide that will give you an advantage early on, and I wanted to detail how you can obtain iron, some good spots for it, and a good route. This is a resource that you can use for some good tools and for some fairly solid early game armor and weapons. First of all, you start at a ruined bridge near the starter river, structure that kind of resembles a bridge. It's not that hard to find it. And it's on the western part of the starter area, and you make your way from there. For the convenience sake, I've sped up everything, but you can find the first spot under the bridge, the one I showed, and then you continue your way up the river, and you will come across a certain cave, and I will make a bit of a detailed guide on it by the end of the video. And you can find some useful stuff in there, and I'll talk about it a bit more later. But I'm choosing the most safest route, and there will be a certain camp with Jafari on the right side of that river that you're following upstream, and you might want to avoid it completely and entirely, but it's up to you. If you can handle it, you can handle it. But I'm making a guide for routes that you can essentially avoid most of the enemies. However, keep in mind that this spot is a slightly advanced spot, and you'll need to have some kind of blunt weapon, two-handed, one-handed, and I would definitely recommend the follower because at that spot there are going to be several monsters that can be tricky to kill. But the key to defeating them is using blunt weapon to to essentially chip them down. And of course, a follower like any kind of followers that can survive for any period of time and can distract them will do good. Whether it's an animal like crocodile, hyena, or you manage to capture any kind of follower, that would be a huge advantage. So I would say the spot is uh, slightly more advanced for people who have already built a rudimentary base and have some basic stuff that they need for combat and for exploration. The most important thing that you need to clear that spot: blunt weapons, any kind of maces, that is, and a reliable follower that can tank them. And also, there is a second, more safer route, but it will yield far less iron. However, you don't need anything at all for it. There is no monsters guarding the metals. There's Crocodile, but you can outrun him and he resets really fast. And that's like the safest route to mine iron that you can ever find. And on top of everything, there is a cave with a lot of potential followers that you can get, and there's a huge variety, and I personally used it when I started the game a lot. So essentially, the good route would be gathering all that iron and then getting a follower and then getting back to your base. So that's something that I would recommend. And as mentioned previously, here's a quick run through the cave that you can find early on. I've circled it on that first tiny map that I've showed, and essentially you can run through it. You can skip all the mobs, and the first thing you'll get, you'll unlock the sorcery on the table. Big gold book, hard to miss, and then you have to jump in the water and you have to get on the cliff, or you can use an ice bridge more conveniently if you are able to cast it, but it's not that hard to get to the other side in any case. And on the other side there'll be a bunch of chests, and the most importantly, you can get a really good weapon from there, a steel weapon. Usually it's steel two-handed sword, which will last you a while, and a bunch of other useful resources. So that's a little bit bonus that you can get early on. And from sorcery, you can get a nice bridge and a lot of other utility early on. So I definitely recommend unlocking sorcery as soon as you can and leveling up a bit. It doesn't necessarily give you an edge, but it definitely provides you utility. And in case you decide to go for full sorcery build, you can summon armor, weapons, and then mounts and minions from it. So thanks for watching. I hope you find it very useful. Like and subscribe for more Conan Exiles videos.